There is a profound difference between the world as it appears and the world as it is. We live in a time where many stand at the crossroads of fear and opportunity, where the question is not whether or not we will face challenges, but how we will face them. The courage to confront the unknown, to meet life's challenges with unwavering resolve, is a mark of true bravery. Bravery, however, is often misunderstood. We often think of bravery as something grand, something heroic. But in truth, bravery lies in the small, everyday decisions we make. It is found in the quiet resolve to pursue what is right, even when the odds seem stacked against us. A brave heart does not await the perfect moment. It rises in the face of imperfection and uncertainty. Boldness is not the absence of fear. It is the courage to act despite it. When we confront the daunting tasks before us, it is not because we are free from fear, but because we choose to rise above it. This is the first lesson of boldness. Bold action begins with courage, a courage that dares to move forward even when the path is unclear. But there is something even more significant that is often overlooked. Boldness is rooted in our choices. Every bold action stems from a decision, a conscious, deliberate choice to step out of the shadows of comfort into the light of possibility. The world does not reward passivity. It rewards those who act. Those who seize opportunities despite the risks are those who shape their own destinies. It is easy in the face of uncertainty to hold back, to wait for a sign or for conditions to be perfect. But life will rarely present the perfect conditions for action. Inaction, too, is a decision. When we choose not to act, we choose stagnation. We choose to remain in the safety of the known, but at the cost of growth. In the end, the greatest regret is not that we failed, but that we never had the courage to try. True boldness, therefore, is not just a matter of doing the difficult. It is about understanding that action, whether large or small, will always bring change. Every choice, every step forward, leads us toward a greater understanding of who we are and what we are capable of. We are not defined by what we fear, but by what we choose to do in the face of that fear. The courage to act. At the core of true bravery lies an idea that often goes unnoticed. Bravery is not about the absence of fear, but rather the willingness to act in the face of it. In a world where comfort and predictability are often sought after, the courageous person is one who, despite the discomfort of uncertainty, steps forward and embraces the unknown. In many respects, the act of bravery begins with recognition. The recognition that fear is a natural, inherent part of our existence. It is not something that can be wholly eradicated, nor should it be. Fear, in its proper place, serves as a guide, warning us of potential danger and allowing us to assess risk more thoroughly. But fear, unchecked and unchallenged, can also paralyze us. This is where the distinction between mere courage and true bravery is made. True bravery does not simply ignore or eliminate fear. It involves acknowledging fear and deciding, despite its presence, to move forward. This is a crucial point. Bravery is not about being fearless. It is about being able to make decisions, take actions, and move in a direction, even when one's heart trembles and the mind races with doubts. It is the difference between standing still out of fear and taking a step forward despite that fear. What sets the brave apart is their ability to act despite the presence of fear, uncertainty, and even failure. Consider, for example, the nature of a difficult challenge, whether it's speaking in public, pursuing a career change, or standing up for what one believes in when everyone else disagrees. Fear will undoubtedly exist in these scenarios, and yet the brave person does not allow fear to dictate their behavior. Instead, they use fear as a tool, an indication that something worthwhile is on the other side of their anxiety. The courage to act is often associated with grand moments of heroism, where individuals perform actions that are visibly dramatic and courageous in the eyes of others. However, the most powerful demonstrations of bravery are often the quiet, personal decisions we make when no one is watching. The person who chooses to continue striving toward a goal despite repeated failures, or the individual who chooses to confront personal demons, exhibits a courage that is no less significant than the hero who charges into battle. In fact, these personal moments often require even more bravery, as they lack the external recognition that comes with public heroics. In these instances, the individual must rely solely on their inner conviction and belief in the importance of their actions. The decision to keep going, to persist despite adversity, is a profound act of bravery. This courage does not come from an external push, but from an internal force that believes in the value of the journey, regardless of the outcome. It's easy to act boldly when you're certain of success, but the true test of bravery lies in moving forward when the path is unclear and the outcome uncertain. The courage to act is also intertwined with the concept of vulnerability. Being brave does not mean being invulnerable. On the contrary, to act courageously is often to expose oneself to failure, ridicule, or even harm. This vulnerability is not a weakness. It is an essential component of bravery. To be brave is to put oneself in a position where things might not go according to plan, where one might fail. But the brave person understands that failure is not the end, it is simply part of the process. Bravery lies not in avoiding failure, but in embracing it as a step towards success, growth, and self-discovery. The courage to act requires us to face our fears with honesty. It means confronting the things that scare us, not running away from them or pretending they don't exist, but looking them squarely in the face and proceeding anyway. This is where courage intersects with integrity. True bravery involves aligning our actions with our values, even when it is difficult, inconvenient, or risky. The brave person does not merely act out of a desire to be seen as courageous, but out of a deep sense of purpose and commitment to something larger than themselves. So says the Gospel. Another key aspect of the courage to act is the willingness to challenge the status quo. Many of the great changes in history, whether personal or societal, have come about because individuals were bold enough to question the way things were. They dared to take action even when the rest of the world was content to remain within the safety of the familiar. The courage to act often requires us to push past the fear of judgment, to risk disapproval, and to challenge what is considered normal. It requires the audacity to believe that something better is possible, and the determination to take steps toward that vision, even when others do not share the same belief. The courage to act is a mindset. It is the recognition that action, in and of itself, holds immense power. Through our actions, we shape not only the course of our lives, but the world around us. Every decision to act bravely, no matter how small, creates ripples that extend far beyond the immediate moment. And over time, these ripples can become waves of change that transforms not just our own lives, but the lives of those around us. The courageous individual understands that the act of moving forward, no matter the scale, is a transformative force. The courage to act is not a fleeting moment of heroism, but a sustained, ongoing commitment to confronting fear, embracing uncertainty, and taking steps toward the unknown. It is a choice we make each day in the face of the challenges and fears that we encounter. And it is this courage that ultimately defines the depth and richness of our lives. The power of choices. Every day, we are presented with a multitude of choices, both big and small, that shape the trajectory of our lives. It's easy to overlook the significance of these decisions, but the truth is that each choice we make is a powerful act that contributes to the overall direction we take. Bold actions, the kind that have the potential to transform lives, are always the result of conscious, deliberate decisions. To live boldly is to understand the power of choice and to embrace the responsibility that comes with it. The power of choices lies in the fact that each decision we make adds another layer to our identity and to the story of our lives. Often, we think of life as a series of events that happen to us. We imagine that we are simply reacting to circumstances, swept along by the currents of time and fate. But in reality, we are the authors of our own story, and it is our choices, not external factors, that ultimately define us. Every choice we make is a declaration of who we are and who we intend to become. This is especially true when it comes to bold actions. Boldness is not a trait that some people are born with and others are not. It is a mindset that is cultivated through the choices we make. It begins with the decision to act, to take that first step when it would be easier to stay in a comfortable position of inertia. Boldness is the result of making the conscious choice to rise above fear and uncertainty, to trust that the effort is worth it, even when the outcome is not guaranteed. A bold decision often requires us to step outside our comfort zones. Comfort is seductive, and the easy path is often the path of least resistance. But choosing comfort over action is a choice in itself, and it is a choice that keeps us tethered to mediocrity. Every time we avoid a difficult decision, every time we opt for safety over growth, we reinforce the habit of inaction. Over time, these small choices can build up and lead to a life of missed opportunities, unfulfilled potential, and regret. It is the bold decision, the decision to break free from the status quo, that allows us to live fully and to experience the richness of life's possibilities. Acceptance is impossible without blame, so it is the natural state of human nature. On the other hand, making bold choices is not always a matter of taking dramatic, life-altering steps. Often, boldness is found in the smaller, everyday decisions that require us to go against the grain. The decision to speak up when everyone else remains silent, to take on a new challenge at work, or to stand firm in our values even when it is uncomfortable. These are the moments where boldness is forged. The cumulative effect of making such decisions over time is what propels us toward a life of purpose and impact. Boldness is not always about grand gestures. It is about consistency in making the right choices, even when they seem insignificant at the moment. The power of choice also gives us the ability to align our actions with our values and principles. The most impactful, bold decisions are those that are made from a place of deep conviction. When we make choices that are in line with our values, we not only act in a way that reflects our true selves, but we also set the stage for a life that is fulfilling and authentic. Bold actions driven by values have a unique power. They inspire others, create change, and resonate deeply because they are rooted in truth. The ability to choose boldly is a fundamental aspect of taking ownership of our lives. Life does not always unfold according to plan. We encounter obstacles, face setbacks, and are often caught in situations beyond our control. Yet while we cannot always control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. The decisions we make in the face of adversity are what ultimately define us. Do we choose to rise up and confront the challenge, or do we retreat into fear and self-doubt? Each decision we make in these moments is an act of ownership, an assertion of our agency and our ability to shape the outcome of our lives. To personal growth, bold choices have the power to influence the world around us. Our actions ripple outward, affecting those we interact with and even those we do not know. When we choose to lead with integrity, when we take risks to follow our passions, or when we decide to stand up for what is right, we create a ripple effect that extends far beyond our immediate circle. Boldness is contagious. When others see us making choices that are courageous and true to our values, it can inspire them to do the same. In this way, our individual choices have the potential to spark collective change. It is important to recognize that bold choices do not come without risk. There is always the possibility of failure, rejection, or disappointment. But it is precisely this risk that gives bold actions their transformative power. Without the willingness to face the unknown, to venture into uncharted territory, boldness loses its meaning. It is only through embracing the possibility of failure that we open ourselves up to the possibility of success. The fear of failure should never deter us from making bold choices. Rather, it should fuel our determination to act with even greater purpose. The power of choices is not only about the present moment, but about the future we are creating. Every choice we make today lays the foundation for tomorrow. The small, seemingly insignificant decisions we make now have a compounding effect that shapes our future. Whether we are investing in our personal development, cultivating relationships, or pursuing long-term goals, the choices we make today determine the direction in which we move. Therefore, to live boldly is to make choices with a long-term perspective, to recognize that every decision has consequences that extend beyond the immediate moment. The consequence of inaction. In a world that often values speed and productivity, it is easy to overlook the consequences of inaction. We live in a society that constantly encourages us to act, to do, to achieve. But what happens when we choose not to act? What happens when we allow fear, doubt, or complacency to keep us stagnant? The consequence of inaction is not just the absence of progress, it is a slow, subtle erosion of potential, a quiet surrender of possibilities. Inaction, in its essence, is a decision in itself. When we decide not to act, we are still making a choice. By failing to make a decision or take a step forward, we are effectively choosing the status quo, staying in the comfort of what is known and avoiding the discomfort that comes with change. This choice may seem harmless at first. After all, staying where we are feels safe and predictable. But over time, the lack of action begins to take its toll. Opportunities pass by, personal growth stagnates, and we find ourselves trapped in a cycle of unfulfilled potential. End of section 210. One of the most significant consequences of inaction is missed opportunities. Every day, life presents us with chances to grow, to learn, and to improve. These opportunities may come in the form of a career change, a new relationship, or a personal goal that requires us to take a leap of faith. When we fail to act, we close the door to these possibilities. Each opportunity we let slip away is a moment in time that we can never retrieve. As time passes, we may begin to regret not taking action, but by then the opportunity has often moved on, leaving us with nothing but the bitter taste of what could have been. This sense of missed opportunity is particularly painful when we realize that it is entirely within our control to take action. The fear of failure, the uncertainty of the outcome, or the comfort of staying where we are often prevent us from seizing the moment. However, inaction does not protect us from failure. It simply postpones it. When we do not act, we guarantee that we will not succeed, and over time this inaction compounds into a life marked by unachieved goals and unrealized dreams. Another consequence of inaction is the gradual erosion of confidence. As we choose not to take action, we begin to doubt our own abilities and decision-making capacity. Each time we hesitate or avoid a difficult decision, we reinforce the belief that we are incapable of handling challenges. This self-doubt can become paralyzing, creating a cycle where the longer we wait, the harder it becomes to act. Our confidence diminishes and the fear of failure grows stronger, further reinforcing the habit of inaction. What was once a small hesitation becomes a debilitating force that prevents us from pursuing even the simplest of goals. Inaction also fosters a sense of stagnation. Life is dynamic, always shifting and evolving. When we refuse to act, we remain stuck in place, watching as others move forward and evolve. This feeling of being left behind can be disheartening, and it often leads to a sense of dissatisfaction with life. We begin to compare ourselves to those who are taking risks and making strides, and we wonder why we are not experiencing the same growth. The truth is that we are not stuck because of external circumstances, but because we have chosen not to move forward. The longer we remain inactive, the more difficult it becomes to break free from this inertia. Stagnation breeds complacency, and before long we find ourselves accepting mediocrity as the norm. The consequence of inaction extends beyond personal regret. It also has a profound impact on the people around us. Our choices do not exist in a vacuum. They affect our families, friends, colleagues, and communities. When we fail to act boldly, we deny others the opportunity to benefit from our potential. We may have talents, insights, or resources that could inspire, teach, or uplift those around us, but when we choose not to share these gifts, we rob others of the chance to experience our contribution. Our inaction, then, is not just a personal loss, it is a communal one. The world misses out on the value we could have added, and those who depend on our actions are left without the support, encouragement, or guidance we could have provided. Inaction breeds a lack of accountability. When we avoid making decisions, we avoid taking responsibility for the direction our lives are headed. It becomes easy to blame external factors, the economy, other people, or circumstances, when things go wrong. But in reality, we are the ones who allowed ourselves to remain inactive. We failed to take responsibility for our own choices, and as a result, we have forfeited our ability to change the course of our lives. By not acting, we give up our agency and place our fate in the hands of others, or in the hands of circumstances beyond our control. There is also a deeper, more existential consequence of inaction. When we fail to act, we deny ourselves the chance to live a life of purpose and fulfillment. Human beings are inherently driven to seek meaning, to create, and to contribute. Inaction prevents us from fulfilling these innate desires. It traps us in a state of apathy where we are merely going through the motions of life without truly living. Over time, this apathy can turn into resentment and disillusionment, as we come to realize that we are not living the life we imagined for ourselves. The failure to act, then, not only limits our achievements, but also stunts our personal growth and self-actualization. The consequences of inaction extend to the world around us. While we may think that our inaction affects only ourselves, the truth is that the world is shaped by the actions of individuals. Every great change in history, whether it be in the realms of science, politics, or social justice, has been sparked by someone who decided to act. When we fail to act, we miss the opportunity to be part of something greater than ourselves. We lose the chance to contribute to the collective good, to make a difference, and to leave a legacy. Inaction, in this sense, is not just a personal failure. It is a failure to contribute to the world in a meaningful way.